Okay. First thing is let's go into our course on Blackboard, and not much in here. We're not going to use this very often, but I will use it to pull up our syllabus and go over a couple things on the syllabus. And it would be helpful if I shared my screen with you. Let me come back and do that. Okay. Can you guys see my screen now or see something? Anybody?
Yes.
Anybody see the screen? See the crazy looking screen? Nope. Am I talking to myself? Okay, thank you. All right, so again, you are 3 sections thrown into one shell, which doesn't really impact you at all. First thing, how to get in touch with me. You can call my office phone, my Google Voice phone, which is the 335 number, or you can email me. I get email on my phone, so that is a good way to get in touch with me as well. You can text me at the mobile number. Just make sure you follow kind of my guidelines so I know who you are. On Mondays, I will be online in this room from 11 to 1. Tuesdays, I'm on campus. If you request on Tuesdays to meet me in the online room, we can. Wednesday evenings, I'll be here. And Thursdays, I will either be on campus or here. I will pretty much always have the screen up, though, on Thursdays. And, of course, everything's subject to change. So this is our link to get into our classroom anytime. A couple of sites. The myopenmath.com site is important, and to register on there, you had to use that course ID of 18819 and the enrollment key next to it. And I don't know why it keeps doing that. All right. I'm not going to go through the whole syllabus, just a couple of things on here. We are using the MyOpenMath system, so you do not need to purchase anything. If you have a graphing calculator, a TI graphing calculator, that's great. You can use that. There will be videos to show you how to use that. If you have an Apple iPhone, you can download and pay for that Graphing Calc 83, which is a nice little app for $6. It's an emulator. It's not sanctioned by TI, but it works great. You all are registered for a 100-level statistics course. So we are kind of covering a whole bunch of topics in a little way. So this is a great course for people who just need to be literate in statistics. And by literate, I mean you need to understand the statistics. We are not focused on computation in this course. We are focused more on understanding, not computing things that you don't. We're focused more on interpreting than computation. So you're going to let software do the calculations for you, and your goal is to be able to interpret results. The format of the course is set up as learners and experiences. I will take you guys through that when we look at the mom site. All right, couple of things. Student verification. I do not require you to come to campus to take your final exam. However, you have to complete the student verification activities. So the first thing is when you take your Blackboard quiz, you need to hold a valid ID up to your face and take a picture of you holding it. And that can be a driver's license, a student ID, a military ID, a passport, any valid ID, and they're listed in the quiz. If you just take a picture of yourself, that does not count as a verification activity. You need to take a picture of yourself holding this ID and upload it as a picture. Now, the second part of that validation process is that you really need to meet with me between February 1st and March 31st online. So what you're doing right now, coming into this session, you can do that. If you're coming in through the Collaborate sessions, to do a verification, you do need a video camera. I can Skype, and I can also FaceTime, but those have to be set up outside of Blackboard Collaborate. Or you can come in and see me after February 1st and before April 21st. If you have not done your verification, you will take your final exam in one of the 4 campus testing centers. If you're not local, you may have to pay for a remote proctoring service, or you may have to set up your proctoring elsewhere. So we really started class yesterday. You take the hopefully you read the syllabus, taken the quiz, enrolled in MyOpenMath, and gone into the autobiography. If you take a look at the schedule, we have adventures. So basically, they're like units. The first one we're going to do is descriptive statistics. It goes through the 23rd. And in there are 4 experiences, 0 through 3. And you are required to know all the material that's listed under the Learn section of each experience, and you are required to complete the material listed under the Assessment section. You also have a critical thinking and a quiz. So they're all set up almost in the exact same way, and we will take a look at them inside of the system. Grading policy, 10-point scale. Here's how your grades are broken down. Your syllabus quiz in Blackboard is 5% of your overall grade. Your online homework in the MyOpenMath site is 20% of your grade. Submitting responses to virtual lectures via the form is 10%. Your quizzes online in MyOpenMath are 20%. Your critical thinking forums are 20%. There'll be 1 per adventure. And your final exam is worth 25%. I will drop 1 homework and 1 quiz at the end of the semester. New for me this semester, if you took 152 with me, is there is a very specific policy on how to address your emails. I have spent a lot of time in the past trying to figure out what class, what section, the student is in, if they're in the 16-week class or an 8-week class or a 12-week class, if they're in an online class or a hybrid class. So when you address your emails to me, your subject line of your email has to be Math 157, your last name, and your section number. So for you guys, your section numbers will either be capital O06N, O07N, or O08N. And to be quite frank, you could use any one of those numbers and I would know which class to look for you in. If you send me an email through the MyOpenMath system, you do not have to worry about how you address your emails, because it will let me know what class you are in as I go in and I look at that. The second part of that is text messaging. I cannot tell you how many text messages I get, or can I have an extension on my homework, or I couldn't access the quiz. Well, I have no idea who you are because you don't tell me who you are. So if I'm in a good mood, I might write back, who are you and what class are you in? And if I'm not, I might just say, forget it, and ignore your text. So what are things that you need to do? Present on the first day of class, you've got to complete the syllabus quiz, register for the course, complete the autobiography. I think I gave you the 24th, and then I'm dropping you from a class. Now, also, if there are more than 14 calendar days that have passed and you have not completed any work or assignments or even been in the system, you may be dropped from the course or withdrawn for unsatisfactory attendance. And I can track when you've been into the MOM system and what you've been working on. Late work. I do not grant extensions on late work. However, you get 20 late passes that you can use over the course of the semester. A late pass will extend the due date 24 hours past the original due date. They can be wonky. If you don't use them before the due date, you can't always use them. I do set it so that you can use it within the first 24 hours, but it often doesn't work. So you have to keep on track of your homework. If you know you can't get your homework done, go in and use a late pass. Now, it's one late pass per day. So if you need an extra 3 days on a single assignment, you need to use 3 late passes. Now, if there's an extreme situation like a death in the family or you're hospitalized, a lot of that goes out the window, but you have to make sure that you are in communication with me. The last thing in here I want to just point out, the dates. If you want to drop and get your money back, it's the 25th. And if you want to withdraw without academic penalty, it's March 24th. And those are the 2 dates that you need to keep in mind. All right. All right. Question about the auto. Can you repeat that for me, please? Nina, what do you need repeated? And Jennifer, I'll show you where you post the autobiography inside of the My Open Math site. So Nina, I'm not sure what you need repeating, but if you can. Student verification. Okay, back in the syllabus, I'll go there one more time. Student verification is a multi-part procedure. What's down here somewhere? All right. On page 8 is section 2.7.3. The first part of the process is to do a selfie on your syllabus quiz. The second part is come to an office hour after February 1st and before March 31st and actually let me see you over the webcam. If you didn't do the syllabus activity correctly, then you'll have to pull up an ID. But part of that is to conference with students to see how you're doing. And the other part is to verify that you're really the one taking the class. Now, if you aren't able to do it online in that window, then you'll have to do it in person between February 1st and April 21st. I wait until February 1st so that we actually have something to talk about after you've done a few assignments. Nina, did that answer your question? Okay, good. All right, so let's go look at the My Open Math site. All right, let's go to our class. I need to turn off some of these. So I'm in instructor view. I'm going to go into student view. So right now you don't have all the adventures listed. That's on purpose. I'm actually I'm working back through them to make sure everything is in line. First thing you want to do, just like a Blackboard, is you're going to go to the Start Here. There's the Welcome to the Course, a note about how virtual lectures work, and the autobiographies section. So under Start Here is where you'll find the autobiographies. And if you look at it, there's a prompt. If I weren't taking this course, I would be doing blank, blank, blank. Hopefully, Jennifer, that answered your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So make sure you go in there. There's some information about course navigation in here. There's a little course welcome and a note about the virtual lectures. I don't think I have anything, but here's the virtual classroom. So when I post announcements, I will send out announcements through Blackboard so that they go directly to your email, and I will also post announcements in here. All right. Syllabus and course information. Questions about the course are in here. The syllabus is in here. And this is an index copy of the syllabus that you can come in. So if you wanted to be able to come in and see the course schedule, you click there. You have to give it a second, but it'll take you right to the course schedule inside of the syllabus. And that's the same syllabus that's up on Blackboard. It's just an index version of it. So somebody already posted a question about the course. It still hasn't gotten away. Post to the discussion forum. Post shows for 5 modifiers. Yeah, that's exactly right. What I did was you can modify your own posts in that discussion forum. You don't have to, but you can absolutely modify your own posts in here. All right. Let's come back out to the main window and let's see what you're going to be learning. So here's Adventure 1. At the top of every adventure, there are the learning outcomes for the course. You go inside an experience. There's always a little introduction. This is an old one for the presidential debates, but I haven't updated that. And then you will go in and click on Learn. Again, the learning outcomes for the section are listed here. And then this is where you go to readings and videos. So here are some readings. What are statistics? When they're the same name, you can either go into the reading and do the reading, or you can pull up the video and you can watch the video. Okay, this is just, you can hit play and you can do that. Some people like to do one, some people like to do both. When you are finished, you click on this thing called the virtual lecture response form. First thing you would do is, what are statistics? You're going to put 2 or 3 sentences about what are statistics. You'll put your first name, your last name, and then put your entire BCCS email address. And then you're going to hit submit. The reason you put your entire email address is, first, I can verify who you are by your username and your email, but it will send you an email copy, like a receipt of what you submitted. And that way you can keep track of which ones you have submitted. If you put your email address in incorrectly, it's not going to go to you. If it's an email address that doesn't exist, it's not going to go to you. But be careful to put your emails in correctly so that you can have copies of all that. Are there any questions right now about the virtual lectures? Anybody? Before I move on? Okay, good. At the end of the semester, you need to have submitted 25 of these. There's probably 40 that you could submit. You can submit up to 27. And they are a little check to make sure you are understanding the material. Now, keep in mind, though, that even if you don't submit a virtual lecture, you are responsible for the material that is covered in the virtual lecture. So if you are not reading or watching that material, you're not learning. Some of these are done by books. Some of these are done by me. Some of these are things that I found on YouTube. They're from multiple sources, but they've all been vetted by me. So that is pretty much the Learn section. Now I can use this thing to go back out here. And now I can go into the assessment section. There is no assessment for Experience 0, it's just readings. Again, we go into Experience 1. Talks about a little bit about sampling. You go into the Learn area. You can find the learning outcomes. There's some additional resources. And then all the readings and videos are listed in here. Okay. And then I can hit return. Once I'm done with that, I can, I didn't mean to go out that far. I can go into the assess section and I can pull up the homework. Okay. This homework has 11 questions. You do the homework until you get it right. And hopefully the readings will have helped you do the homework. I don't think there's any videos in this section. No, because it's all based off the reading. And again, go back out to Adventure 1, and when you've done that homework, you go into Experience 2, you do the readings, videos, you submit your lectures, and then you can come back out and go in and do your homework. Okay. Now in here, there are some problems that have some videos. So if you're not quite sure about a relative frequency, you can watch this video that's attached to the homework. That being said, all of the material in these videos is covered in the Learn section. So there is a recording or a reading that talks about what a relative frequency is and how to calculate one. It's a very, very bad idea to try to do this entire class by simply going into the assessments, because you will not be learning what you need to learn. You will not be able to always answer your critical thinking questions, and you may not be prepared for your quizzes. So you are responsible for all the material. I just have too many windows open. So they're set up basically the same way. I'm going to get out of this assessment. You may do a homework problem, get it right, and what do I mean by that? I'm just going to keep putting in bad answers until I get it wrong. I need to actually get it right. And then I can do one more attempt. Okay. Now I've gotten the question wrong. There's an X here. I can click on try another similar question. It'll give me another question, and the grade starts all over again. One thing to be careful about is it says this is due on Monday, 1/16 at 11:59. If you do the homework after it's due, it will tell you up in the corner, in review mode, no work will be saved. So make sure that you are doing your assignments or using your late passes before the assignments are due. And then the last things to look at are critical thinking. So 4 of you have actually gone in and done the critical thinking. It's great. And then this quiz, look, I have the wrong date on the quiz. I need to fix that. Okay. So there's a quiz on each adventure. When you take a quiz, you have 3 attempts on every problem, but the second attempt you get a 10% penalty, and the third attempt you get a 10% penalty. So you can do every problem 3 times, up to 3 times, but there'll be penalties when it's incorrect. And if you think you got something wrong because of a rounding issue, it's on you to get in touch with me to let me know to go in and review that problem on that quiz. And you can actually email me from inside the quiz in the system. Okay. The only other thing, and it's funny it's not listed in here, but maybe it is out here. Okay. Each experience has a Q&A area, and if you have a question on the homework, you can use the Q&A area. So let's say here I have a question about something I'm not really sure. Let's see, I had a question on question 7. What you can do is you can post this question to the forum, and it will put a copy of the question into the forum, and then you need to ask your question. You can say, I'm confused between nominal and ordinal. Can someone give me an example? But you can't just post a question from the homework into the forum expecting someone to tell you the answer. You have to put something up as to where you're having trouble with the question, or I will remove your question from the forums when I'm able to review them. Okay. And then if you go in and you answer each other's questions, that's where you get some extra credit. Potentially get some extra credit at the end of the semester. All right. Any questions for me? I'm going to stop sharing my desktop Anybody have any questions about anything that I've gone over? No, you guys look tired. It's only the beginning of the semester. All right, well, that's it. You guys are free to go. I'm gonna stop the recording.